On July 24th, 2019, police officers were dispatched to Simply Unique Hair beauty supply store located in Arkansas. When they arrived at the scene, two victims were found. One, a deceased female, the other later died at the hospital. The vehicle that they arrived in was no longer at the scene. The vehicle was actually driven there by their mother. It is speculated that their mother left her two slain daughters there to fend for themselves.
The two people killed yesterday in a beauty shop shooting in Hot Springs have been identified as 19 and 22-year-old sisters.
Though one person was taken in for questioning, no arrests have been made. KRK's Rebecca Jeffrey joining us with more on this, and there is a lot to this, Rebecca.
Quite a few questions. Yes, Bob and Ashley, police and witnesses say the sisters, along with their mother, went into that beauty supply store to confront a co-worker there. Excuse me, not a co-worker, just a worker there. Now, two people are dead. One's on the run and another one is in hiding. A business's doors closed for now after three people went inside the store Wednesday, but only one came out. Hot Springs police confirmed 19-year-old Mernea Myers and her sister, 22-year-old Monteria Myers, and their mother went into Simply Unique Hair Beauty Supply to confront one of the workers. They got in a fight with that employee. Witnesses say the worker was badly beaten, grabbed a gun, and shot at the women. One sister died at the scene, the other died at the hospital. Their mother got in a black car and drove off, as witnessed by multiple people. A man who works nearby heard customers concerned about what was happening down the street. He later learned of the deaths.
It's just sad. I mean, usually crimes in the area are just, drug or alcohol related, but I mean, that's sad.
The believed shooter was taken in for questioning but not arrested. Now those in the area say they worry about retaliation and are keeping quiet. They say the beauty shop worker and the owner have left the city for safety. The whole incident leaving to question who was the real victim.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be completely different than any of the other content you guys have actually saw on my channel in the past almost 10 years of being a YouTube content creator. I wanted to switch things up a bit because I've actually fallen in love recently with true crime, and I have literally thrown myself in a whirlwind of all these different true crime stories and YouTube platforms, and I figured that was something that really interested me and I wanted to give it a try. I actually don't know how often I will be posting, so I did film another video a couple of days ago. However, I was sent this TikTok story video, if you will, about a particular situation that I'm about to get into, and it literally piqued my interest. I've been doing so much research just trying to figure out how the freak did this even happen, and I decided that I kind of wanted this to be the first one that jumped off the true crime series on my platform. So before I start, I definitely want to say welcome to my channel. If you have never been over here and you're just interested in true crimes, then please stay for a while because I will continue to post videos like this, especially if you guys are interested. So let me know in the comment section below how you guys feel after hearing about the story, and then also some feedback if this is a story that you have heard about or have seen recently trending and going viral on TikTok. So today's video is going to be about the untimely passing of two Arkansas sisters by the name of Mernea Myers and Monteria Myers. Mernea Myers goes by Nana, so I think that's a very simple way for me to share the story and properly pronounce her name. And there's just so much information to get into. I just knew there was a lot more to the story, but I'm going to give you guys the story how I found it first. But before we get into the horrific incident that transpired on July 24th, 2019, I want to give a little backstory about the victims. Monteria Myers, age 22, was born July 18th, 1997 to her parents Monte Neal and Latanya Myers, but she was formally adopted by her maternal grandparents. She was a proud cheerleader in high school. She received perfect attendance. Upon graduating, she received her cosmetologist license, and she was doing so good, you guys. everybody knows that we are definitely in the times of looking good, feeling great, and she definitely did a great job of keeping herself together, as well as many of her clients who loved seeking out her services. She actually had 7 siblings, including her sister, but like I said, she was adopted by her grandparents on her mother's side, so her mother did not raise her. And within all of my research, there were so many different loopholes, so I'm trying to be as factual as possible, but it is believed that her father is deceased. The obituary is public record, so you can look back at it to refer to it, but I do believe that her father is deceased, but her mother did not raise her. Her mom's parents raised her when she was a child. I don't know if any of her siblings were in that house or if her grandparents just adopted her, but her grandparents spoke so highly about her and said how her smile was infectious, and you know, she was just so ambitious and just a great child, and they absolutely adored her all the way into her untimely passing on July 24th, 2019. Like I said, her sister was also unalived on this day, so I want to go ahead and give a little information about her as well. Myrnia Myers McKissick, age 19, she was born December 8th, 1999 to the parents of Latonya Myers and Bob Travis McKissick. She went to the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, majoring in psychology. She wanted to specialize with at-risk children and their families, so you can already tell that she had such a passion for giving back to those less fortunate who were battling a various of different issues throughout their lives, and she just had such a passion for this. Not only that, back in 2012 she was baptized and she gave her life back to the church, and she was heavily involved with the church. She was a part of the youth portion where she helped a lot with the kids, and when I say she was well esteemed in her community, people spoke so highly about her as well and said, you know, her energy was unmatched and she was so kind and, you know, feisty and you know, just so optimistic about life, and she had her whole life ahead of her. She was only 19 years old, and I don't know too many people who at the age of 19 start thinking about the bigger picture, you know, especially nowadays. Like, we're so temporary in the right now, we're not really thinking long term. So it was so commendable that she thought about her life, and you know, she was so involved with the church, and you know, she just had a bigger purpose of being here other than just herself. She also had 13 siblings, including her sister, and I just want to make sure I reference that they had 2 separate fathers. So I know in a lot of the stories that I was reading, a lot of people blamed their parents for the situation, and then people were in the comments saying no, their father is gone. But I just want to make clear, they had 2 separate fathers, and even when you look at the last name of their siblings, there were multiple baby mamas and baby daddies in this situation, like multiple. I don't know who she was raised by, but based off of some of her family and friends in the comments, she also was not raised by the mom. So I don't know where their mother was in their earlier parts of their life. However, as they got older, it is safe to assume that they did have a closer relationship. There were some pictures that were posted of them where they spoke about loving their mother out loud. So I would say that, you know, maybe in their adult years they rekindled with their mom. I just don't know why their mother did not raise them, and or if she even raised any of her kids. That information just is not public record. But now let's go ahead and fast forward. So as we know, both of the sisters were unalived on that day, and it was a very, very fatal situation. So I kind of want to walk you guys through the situation and tell you guys exactly what has been reported in the news that has happened. So allegedly around 2 o'clock to 2:30 p.m., both sisters and a third accomplice walked into the beauty supply store where they were meeting up with an employee that was there. The employee's name had not been publicized on any records. I did find someone in the comments saying her name and her age, but we'll get into her age a little bit later because, you guys, this story is really, really crazy. But I'm not going to say the name that was alleged because I didn't see enough factual evidence and I don't want to put the wrong name out there. But we do know, based off the camera footage and based off the news reports, that the sisters, as well as a third accomplice, walked into this beauty supply store where they met up with one of the female employees. And it's presumed that the female employee was the only one in the beauty supply store at the time, and she was on duty. Upon arriving in there, there was a huge brawl that broke out, and allegedly the employee was harmed brutally. Like, she was beat up all the way. I don't know to what extent, but from the news reports, it says that she was beat up really, really, really bad. The employee was brutally beaten, you guys. She got up from being brutally beaten, went behind the register, picked up her weapon of choice, which was a firearm, took this firearm, and as the three individuals saw her pull out the firearm, they began immediately sprinting for the door. Unfortunately, the employee shot one of the sisters in the back of their head, where they were immediately pronounced deceased on the scene, and they shot the other sister in her back a couple of times, where she later succumbed to her wounds at the hospital. The third person who was there was originally posted in the reports as just a third party, and that the mom was in the car. But based off my research, the mom was actually in the beauty supply store with them, with her daughters, and she was able to witness her daughters being shot with the firearm, and she left them, got in her car, and left the scene. So now, you guys, how did this happen? Like, how do we get to this point? Now, I want to play devil's advocate because, like I said, there was so much misinformation out there that I don't want to be doing myself a disservice. When I initially saw this story, this is the post that was making TikTok headlines, that's going super, super viral. And I just knew there had to be more to it. So based off the TikTok post, and I'm going to give all variations of the story as well as the testimonies from their friends and family of what actually happened. Based off of the story, the mom and the daughters were more so friends than they are mother-daughters. And that's safe to say. Like, I can believe that fact because the mom did not raise her daughters. I don't know how close in age they were. I have to go back and look. If I can find it, I'll put it across the screen, the mom's age. But, you know, she didn't raise her daughters, so it's probably safe to assume that, you know, as they got older, she wanted to create a bond with them. And, you know, they're older, so they're able to get away with a lot more, and they formed a friendship with. There's nothing wrong with it. I have 3 daughters myself, and, you know, my daughters are babies pretty much, but I still consider them, you know, some of my best friends. Like, I just have such a really, really good bond. I don't think that it's harmful to be friends with your daughters. So I totally can say, you know, it's not a bad thing to hear that she was friends with them. But I have to add in, at the end of the day, a parent is there to love and protect their children. So allegedly, as we know, both sisters succumbed to their injuries from being fatally shot at the beauty supply store. Their mother was actually the third participant there. Now, allegedly, according to the TikTok viral videos, their mother was actually in an altercation feud with the other woman because she was dating the other woman or intimate with the other woman's boyfriend. She did not know anything about this boyfriend. He never told her he had a girlfriend. And allegedly, she found out that he had a girlfriend, and she went to approach this girlfriend, the employee of the beauty supply store, and they had a brawl the day before on July 23rd. The brawl did not go well, and allegedly the next day, she decided to bring her daughters back to the beauty supply store so that they could jump the employee. After the employee was jumped and she was, like I said, brutally attacked. We do know she was attacked. We do know she had injuries based off the news report that is made available. She pulled out a weapon and shot both of the girls. But the thing about it to me is I kind of wanted, now obviously they did not release the video of the shooting or the incident inside of the beauty supply store. But me, I don't always take things for face value when I hear information. Being that I'm also an influencer, I know how stories can be spun out of control all the time. And I just said, I don't know if maybe because the first story said that they went inside the beauty supply store, fought the individual, and the mom heard the shots and left the scene. However, I noticed on the news report, they said from the camera footage, 3 people were in there. And I'm like, well, who's the third person? Who's the third person? If there's a third person in there, then if they left the scene, then they would have been on foot if the mom left. So it would have been easier to find them and get some type of statement, testimony, or anything. And there was just none of that. As I continued to do a lot more research, they were not announcing who the third person was when they did the news reports, because the news reports failed to mention that it was actually the girl's mother. I'm going to get into the verdict from when they went to court for this incident, but I definitely want to give a little bit more insight. Once I found out that the mom was actually the third person in the store and that she was not in the car, it made me a lot more puzzled as to if she was the main aggressor or the one who had the bigger issue with the employee. Not saying that who should be, harmed more than the other. I'm just saying, to me, it didn't make sense as to why the 2 daughters would have been unalived and not the first person that she wanted to aim for would have been the mom, unless the mom was just completely out of range. It just didn't make sense to me. So I went on Facebook, I went on Google, I went on YouTube, I went on Instagram, I went on TikTok. I typed in their names. They have a very unique spelling of their names. So I typed it, I read as many articles and everything. Facebook was my jackpot. According to Facebook, I want to read one of the statements from someone from Facebook who knew them. According to Facebook, one of their friends says, what you all may not know is that 25-year-old shooter pulled the 19-year-old victim from a home the night before and attacked her over a 20-year-old boy. She was older, bigger, and a bully. This is why they showed up to her job the next day. She had no problem inflicting bodily harm on another, but decided to take 2 lives when the same was done to her. Although no one's actions may be justifiable, please don't be so quick to speak on things you know nothing about. Leave your condolences or say nothing at all. This is their picture and their page. So according to this commenter under one of the girls' Facebook posts, they're saying that the employee of the store actually went to one of the daughters' homes where she was now dating the employee's ex-boyfriend. The ex-boyfriend being of the age of 21 and the employee being of the age of 25 had some type of issue with that and waited to a particular time. Now, you guys didn't hear all of that, but within my research, that's the other stuff that I found. But within a certain time frame, saw the sister come out and actually jumped her, and she was beat really, really bad. So badly to the point that there was a knot on her head, which was confirmed when they took her body from the crime scene. You can actually still visibly see the knot. So that made a little bit more sense to me when I heard that variation of the story. Someone else who's actually best friends with, or her best friend is best friends with one of the sisters, says, these are facts. My best friend is best friends with Shorty in the purple. It was premeditated. The day before they were shot, the crazy B-word waited outside her ex-man's house from 8 p.m. to 10 a.m. in the morning, waiting for the girl in the purple to come outside. And she hit her in the head with a rail. She still has a scar and knot on her deceased body from that. She did all of this over a guy. Then the next day, she texts Shorty and said, pull up to her shop so they could squash it with Shorty's mother there too. And of course, that's not what she wanted to really do. An altercation happened and they started all fighting and shots went off. Then babies tried to run and she shot both of them in the back of their head. These are the facts. So as we can hear, there's 2 different variations of the story. Most of the media is putting out the variation of the mom being the problem. The mom putting her daughters in grown folks' business over some issues that she had with another woman and wanted her daughters to come to her rescue and sent them in that beauty supply store where they were not able to walk back out alive. We don't have all the facts of the story. However, I personally do believe more so the second version of the story. To me, it just seems way more believable that the individual, who we do know is 25 years old, was dating a guy, jumped the other girl, and why she invited her to her job, we don't know. However, you guys, she was able to get away with it. They found her not guilty and said that it was self-defense. In Arkansas, they have a law that states if you are in the place of someone else's space or job or house or place of business or whatever, you can defend yourself at whatever cost. Every state does not have that law. It is very important and vital to know the laws in your state, because there's just certain things that, you know, when you're in your state or you're only privy to your laws where you're around and you don't know other places' laws, it is very easy to get in trouble. That's why sometimes when you go out the country, just like when we had Brittany Griner, I think that's how you pronounce her name, I'm sorry if I'm messing that up, but the WNBA basketball player who went to Russia, had the vape pen, and now she's held in prison and had to go to this concentration camp, and just a whole lot of things, because the law in Russia is much more strict, and there's a lot more things you can't get away with, and your penalty is not going to just be a fine or, you know, just to go to court and be on probation. Like, they sentenced her to real hardcore prison. Like, it was a crazy madhouse. So it's similar to this. Even though she was still in the States, the law stated that the employee had the right to defend herself because they went there, even if she asked them to go or come over there. But like I said, there is video evidence, so we don't know if maybe they went in there to talk. As a parent, this is where I can feel the mom went wrong. I don't believe that it was the mom bringing her daughter to her beef with her man. I do definitely believe she went there to support. I can't definitively say she went there with the right intentions to say, you know, like, let's settle this, like, let's calm down, ladies, or anything of that nature. You know, a lot of parents, like even myself, like, we were taught from little kids, somebody hit you, pick up whatever's around you and hit their ass back, like, knock them out. Like, don't let nobody put their hands on you, don't let nobody disrespect you. We were taught that. Like, we were taught back in the day, like, fight it out with your fists. Nowadays, people are getting so reckless, pulling out weapons and, you know, getting masses and masses of people. Tyria is the one that is 22. If you look at her picture and you look at her frame, it is very understandable to see, like, how someone who was much bigger than her, much larger than her, could knock her out and hurt her if she was in a fight that she was not planning on being in. And I guess from being in that fight, maybe the sister wanted revenge. There is also, which I have to give all versions of the story, so the day before this incident happened, Nana did post something really off-putting on her story. We can't definitively say, well, I can't definitively say who she was talking about in that post, but a lot of people were speculating that she was speaking on the employee because they were already in a feud. Her sister was beat up the day before, so it was already a lot of animosity and chaos ensuing, and that's why she made this post. I will put the post across the screen, but if you can't see it, it says, "Baby, the difference is we're simply not the same. Too cute for a possum face B-word." So I don't know who she was talking about. I don't know how the other girl looks, and I don't know. However, like I said, they were in a on-standing fight. This just did not have to happen. I think this was extremely irresponsible. I'm not going to victim shame. The mom did lose 2 of her daughters in this brutal battle. Like, it was completely unnecessary. But what I will say is, there should have been a police report put in place from the daughter who was jumped by the employee. Because when you have things like that that are put in place, like, so I know it's extremely cringy when you hear people say, I'm gonna get the police involved, or I'm gonna get a restraining order, or, you know, you're gonna get sent a lawsuit. Like, that's extremely cringy. People continue to be a snitch, a punk, and they laugh at you. So a lot of people don't want to go to the police, especially right now in today's time. Like, there's just so many taboo things going on with our law enforcement that a lot of people also don't feel as safe to go because they feel like nothing will be done. However, in instances like this, it would have been so beneficial for them to have already filed a police report, regardless if they went to the employee's house and followed up. As soon as they would have found out that she, one of the sisters who already put in his police report the day before, just came in and reported being jumped and beat on, then maybe she could have had different charges. Maybe the law could have been a little bit less favorable to her to get away with it. Like I said, I did not see the footage. What we do know is the store employee, as well, like the owner of the store, as well as this employee, left the state. They no longer live in the state. The store employee just, of course, is just more so, or the person who owns the store rather, they're kind of just feeling like, you know, how anybody would feel like something like this happened to something you own, frantic, and they just don't want anyone to retaliate. So they're like, this is the place that it happened. I don't want to be working or owning this property. Somebody may come back and do a bomb fight, you know, just any crazy thing. So they did leave, but the employee herself, she has fallen off the face of the earth, or has gone as low-key can get. I did not look up that name to see, and I still wouldn't know. The court records look to not reveal as much information as well when I tried to look into that. But if you guys have been able to find court records, if you guys have been able to find any more information about this case, please let me know in the comments below so that I can update you guys with the situation. Also, the mom did receive a manslaughter charge. That is what has been alleged from the news, that the mom did receive manslaughter, and I think that's why it got blown up on TikTok, because everybody feels like the mom is way more responsible. What kind of mother would take her, even though they're grown, her daughters to a situation to fight, regardless if it was their personal situation with the girl, her personal situation with the girl? What type of mom would take her daughters to a violent situation? And I can also say that if you guys look at what the law is, manslaughter is the unintentional actions that result in the death of an individual. So is different. When you intentionally mean to unalive someone, that's when you get that charge. When it's an unintentional, that's when you get manslaughter, or when you did not premeditate it. There's just so many different levels to it, the way the law classifies it. So like I said, it also varies from state to state, and allegedly they're saying that the mom did not have that intention, which is fair to believe. She probably is like, I'm bringing my daughters, no one's gonna beat up on my child. Like, she was so freaking tiny, you guys. So that's understandable. Like, her sister's like, I'm about to have her back. And then, like I said, maybe the mom did go there and try to squash it and say, hey, you know, talk it out with the employee. The employee got disgruntled, and then next thing you know, one thing led to another, and instead of, you know, taking her beat down the way it was intended to, she decided to retreat to taking 2 innocent lives. And like I said, all of this over a boy that I'm 100% positive that she's not even with. Like, ruining your life, or potentially ruining your life over the relationships or relations that you have with somebody else, is just absolutely crazy. You have one life to live, and there's so many fish in the sea, and I'm so sick and tired of seeing so many beautiful women losing their lives or losing their minds over one guy, a guy that's in a relationship. People are so jealous, women are so jealous and bitter. And I saw a post the other day where it says, I literally have an enemy with, I can't remember exactly what it is, but I think I'll find it if I can search it on Google and see if it'll pop up. But it was pretty much like, I literally have an enemy with somebody over a man. And this is so true in this case. Like, having an enemy can become fatal. So I wanted to share this story to give the facts of this case, because like I said, TikTok literally had me thinking like the mom really truly sent her daughters into a wildfire and was in a car somewhere, and as soon as she heard the shots go off, she was out of there. Like, that's all over TikTok, and the family and the friends have commented all throughout both of the girls' Facebook saying no, that was not the case. The employee asked the girls to come back, and I don't know if she deliberately said bring the mom, but the mom was like, well, I'm coming too, or how that part went down, but they were asked to come and try to talk it out about it, and then that's when the altercation ensued. So really unfortunate, you guys. And like I said, continue to report anything to the police, the law enforcement. If someone has threatened you, if someone has put their hands on you, threaten to put their hands on you, any of those things need to be documented. So if any unfortunate situations like that happens, there are documented proof out there of what exactly happened, so you can get your justice. People had so many beautiful things to say about these two beautiful girls. They had their entire lives ahead of them, and it's just so unfortunate that this was taken away, all because of a man, a boy, a 20-year-old little boy. Like, and yes, by definition he's a grown man, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like, he literally just had graduated high school 2-3 years prior to that. Like, it's just so crazy how these things happen. Just learn to be in control of your emotions. And my last piece of advice is, ladies and guys out there, if you're watching, please learn to surround yourself with people who really want the best for you. I have seen time and time again where people sabotage their own lives because the people around them are not people who truly want the best for them. They like drama, they like toxicity, they like to keep up mess. Like, they don't really want to see you at your best, so they put in your ear these nasty, toxic ideas of encouragement, and don't sway you in the right direction. They're the ones in your ear saying, girl, you better go over there and blah blah blah. They're not the ones in your ear saying, girl, you got too much left to lose, you are beautiful, blah blah blah, like, go report this to the police, or go handle this way. Like, ignore that. Like, people will literally let people talk them into crazy situations for things like this to happen. It was just so unnecessary. So yes, you guys, that is today's story. This is just something new I'm doing on my channel, so I'm really excited to really get into the thick of these true crime situations. I want to get into like heavier, like longer, more interesting cases. I kind of wanted to just start off small with this one, so hopefully you guys really liked it. And yes, so let me know your thoughts if you have seen this story. And like I said, if you have any other things to correct, please let me know, and I will pin it so people can get that information. This is just from the research that I found from people who had like family members and friends with the girls' last names were liking it and stuff like that. So I figured this is a way more credible source. There is not that much information other than the actual news reports themselves of how they found the girls, but no one goes into public information about exactly what ensued prior to finding the girls like that. So I wanted to just find it out on my own. If you all have any other stories that you guys want me to cover, anything you guys want me to look into and investigate, then please let me know. This is really quick. I have a very long rest of these few days of this week before I leave to go out of town, so I didn't want, like I said, I did film another video the other day, but I just felt like maybe this video should be posted first and then I'll share the other one later. But yes, you guys, if you like this video, then please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.